Hello everyone, and welcome to the power duo of facial aesthetics, EMFACE and EXION, for full face results and clinic growth. Today, we're going to be focusing on treating up to 92% of facial concerns using only 2 devices. It sounds bold. However, in the next 60 minutes or so, you will hear exactly how this is being achieved every day in clinics like ours through the right protocols, thoughtful facial planning, and predictable patient outcomes. My name is Sarah Courtney. I am the clinic director and founder of Advante Aesthetics in Jersey in the Channel Islands, and it's an absolute pleasure to be moderating today's session. I'm joined by 2 exceptional colleagues who are leaders in facial rejuvenation, Dr. Arini from Jakarta, Indonesia, and Dr. Leopoldo from Mexico City, both dermatologists and leaders in their field. We're very excited to have you with us as we explore the science and the artistry and the sheer business power of combining EMFACE and the EXION. So with that, let's begin. To open our first session, I am delighted to introduce you to Dr. Arini. She is an award-winning dermatologist from Jakarta, researcher, lecturer, and respected global KOL. She's also the head of dermatology and aesthetics at Abdi Waluyo Hospital. In her lecture, Dr. Arini is going to guide us through facial anatomy and aging, and then share her synergistic full-face protocols supported by detailed clinical results. A brilliant foundation for everything that we are exploring today. Dr. Arini, the virtual floor is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Arini from Indonesia, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you today. I'll be sharing a bit about how I combine EXION and EMFACE, which have become 2 of the most favorite treatments in my clinic lately. And the results have been incredible, not just on the surface, but through every layer of the face. And that brings me to my first point, because as we all know, aging is not just skin deep, because aging affects every layer of the skin, from the bone to epidermis, and true rejuvenation requires a comprehensive approach. The future of facial rejuvenation lies in multi-layer strategy. And these are the most common reason people come to our clinics, whether it's sagging, dullness, wrinkles, or uneven texture. They are all manifestations of aging that can involve one or multiple skin layers. And as we've seen, aging as a multi-layer process, and so our approach of rejuvenations must also be multi-layered. This is where EXION and EMFACE complement each other beautifully. So these are the main technology we use to treat aging at every layer. We're using high-fast and synchronized RF, work on a muscle layer for lifting and toning, monopolar RF and targeted ultrasound to tighten the deeper dermal layer, and we use AI microneedling RF and smart microablations. So first I start with EXIONs. This is the skin expert in the duo. And when we talk about skin quality and we always talk about collagen, we should remember that skin quality also require elasticity and hydration, so where elastin and hyaluronic acid is very important. And there are 4 emergent perceptual categories for skin quality, which is skin tone evenness, surface evenness, firmness, and glow, which all can be covered by EXION. So I start with the first layer, which is epidermis. At the epidermal level, EXION Clear RF targets issues like pigmentations, fine wrinkles, uneven skin tone, and dullness. And on the papillary dermis, this layer is rich in fibroblasts and microvasculatures. And on the papillary dermis, there's a lot of fibroblasts, and the fibroblast is very important because the fibroblast is the cells that produce the collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid. And what happens as we age is the fibroblasts decrease in number and also decrease on functions. As we see that, like on photo age skin, that the fibroblasts can retain their star shape and the shape becomes more rounded like this, the collapsed fibroblast. And this also alters the mechanotransduction and disrupting fibroblast functions to produce collagen, elastin, and HA, which is very important for our skin quality. And on the deeper layer, which is reticular dermis, um, it's the main site for skin strength. And then EXION can deliver deep volumetric heating here and causing the immediate collagen contractions and long-term remodeling through the heat shock protein activations. And on subcutaneous tissue, it's supported by a fibrous collagen networks called retinacular cutis, and it connects the dermis to the underlying fascia and is very critical for facial integrity. And then by heating of the fibrocepta by monopolar RF, which is in the EXION technology, it can tighten these fibroceptal bands, causing mass face fat contractions so that there is a reduction of volume and retightening of the overlying skin. So imagine that dishwasher sponge is our skin, where the green one is the epidermis and the yellow one is our subcutaneous fat. So by tightening this fibroceptor in between our subcutaneous fat cells, it's like the picture below. It will pushes the hanging fat pad on the face while also tightening the overlying skin, which trying to hold them so that the fat are not pulled down by the gravity. SMAS is also a very important structure. When the SMAS and fascia degrades, muscle force transmission weakens. So the result is blunted expressions and less effective muscle lifting. So this is how the monopolar RF work on SMAS. The monopolar RF energy can penetrate deep enough to reach the SMAS layer. It induces thermal contractions, strengthen the collagen network, and enhance SMAS integrity. And this is clinically also means improved contour and visible lifting without downtime. So this is some of the result of my EXION patients. This is only one time monopolar RF with targeted ultrasound by EXION. This is only the result that we can get only one time. This is only like one time, but if we notice the immediate result, instant result usually more visible on younger patients. This is two treatment. This patient is 39 years old, and this is for double chin in a young patients. So this patient is 40 years old male, and this is four sessions of EXION phase. As we see that the tightening and skin quality is highly improved. This is the detail of the skin quality. As we can see the fine lines, the pore, and then we can see the effect of boost hyaluronic acid boost, where we can see that the skin looks much more plump without any skin boosters. And this is the facial assessment report. We can see the improvement on a lot of parameters, and then also improvement on the skin age. This is the result in older patients. This is the details, the tightening of the skin, the less visible wrinkle. This is the immediate result that we can get directly after treatment. This is also directly after treatment. We can compare before and after the treatment, and this is on the same side. So, and then this is some of the result of the clear RF. So we can see that micro needling and the, combined with the clear RF have give like immediate improvement only after a month. After one-time treatments, we can see like less pores, less scars, less pigmentations. And then this is for acne scars. We see from the facial assessment report that the texture is greatly improved on both of the side and on all the parameters. This is the result of microneedling RF after around 2 sessions, we can see the immediate improvement in skin quality, and then improvement on the pore counts. On this case, this is on younger patients. So as we know that we can use EMFACE EXION not only for aging indications, but for other indications like this. This is PIE and acne scars. This is also acne scars with combinations with other devices like fractional pico and skin booster. This is results of microneedling RF on several parameters, and it's improving the skin age on a female 40 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the combinations of combining the action phase with the microneedling RF. So combining 4 times action phase and 2 times microneedling RF, I can see a lot of improvement. We can see that actually on the picture, if you can see that the sagging actually improved a lot as well. And then improvement on these parameters, spots, wrinkle, textures, and pores. And the skin age improved within like a month. And then this is on a younger patient. And now we're talking about muscles, and we're starting with muscles. And we can see that like with aging, the fibers of our muscle shrinks, so it causes loss of muscle tone, and it causes change in muscle group dynamic, and it also change of dynamics between the muscle group, loss of muscle support by underlying structure, and also it causes a connective tissue weakening. So this is the aging in mimic muscles. This is the study from Professor Kotovana. And clinically, these changes are quite distinct. So we can see a reduced activity in zygomaticus major, leading to a loss of midface elevation and smile dynamics. Meanwhile, the procerus and corrugators muscles become hyperactive. And the electromyography studies confirm that showing decreased amplitude in elevators and increased activity in depressors. So I would ask you to think that the facial muscles is like springs in this mattress. If we imagine that the spring bed standing vertically, the muscles are the springs and the skin and the fat are the mattress layers above. When the springs are firm and resilient, the mattress stays lifted and smooth. But the springs, if it weakens and collapses, the whole surface, the skin, it begins to sag and fold. This is exactly what happened with facial aging. When muscle tone declines, everything above it loses its support. So this is why muscle layers are getting matters in facial rejuvenations, because most of our energy-based devices and injectables focus on the skin, fat, or volume, but not on muscle tones. Yet the muscle strength determines how well the face resists gravity. So EMFACE uniquely reactivate and strengthen the facial muscle, restoring natural support from within. So I like to think the muscles are the engine and the mass as the transmission system that carries force upward to the skin. The muscle generates power while the mass distributes it evenly across the face. Aging actually disrupts this synergy. EMFACE helps restore it, enhancing dynamic lift and improving facial posture. So why muscle strengthening is anti-aging? Because when we improve our muscle tone, we don't just lift the skin. We actually also improve the circulations, the oxygenations, and also the metabolic activity. Stronger muscle supports the soft tissue. It also helps to maintain contour and definition. So it's just like exercising our body, training the face, actually rejuvenate its form and also its functions. So this is some of the cases that I treat with EMFACE. So these patients actually just went on she call it like a failed plastic blepharoplasty. So she's not happy with the result because like her eyes actually becomes hooded. And then after we did EMFACE 4 times, this is directly 4 times photos directly after her 4 sessions. We can see actually because like the forehead lift up, we can see that like her eyes improve, and then it's her hooded eyes and saggy eyes becomes more lifted. This is the lateral view. This is also on the other eyes. We can see how the hooded eyes improve only with EMFACE. So this is the improvement on her mid cheek. So this is how I use EMFACE to treat asymmetry. So this patient has a distinct asymmetry, and then she wants to have a more balanced profile. So I put EMFACE more powerful on the other side that we want to lift. So this is another male patient, almost 60 years old, which has like have complaints on like hooded eyes, and then we see like the distance between his eyebrow and eyes actually lifted, and actually the eyelid improve. We can see that like there's a lift on the distance between eyes and the eyebrow. And this is also I want to share my treatment combinations. So this is how I combine the EMFACE with EXION on my clinic, because combinations of EMFACE and EXION can be either EMFACE with EXION phase, or EMFACE with body EXION, or EMFACE with vaginal tightening EXION, or with the clear RF, etc., etc. So actually, the combinations are varied. So in my practice, I actually personalize the sequence depending on each patient's priority. For patient needing lift and contour definitions, I start with EMFACE. But for those with surface and texture concerns, sometimes I do EXION first. So when both are combined strategically, the improvement usually are very visible, holistic, and patients usually notice the result. So this is how I combine the EMFACE and EXION in my clinic. We call it EMCION in my clinic. So I typically perform EMFACE and EXION in the same day, but on different areas, or finish the EMFACE series before moving into EXION sessions. This timing ensures that this technology supports each other. So EMFACE builds the base and EXION perfect the surveys. So this synergy actually gives faster and more visible result only in one sessions. So for the treatment combinations, both the EMFACE and EXION can also be combined with other treatment in my clinic. In my clinic, we bundle EMFACE and EXION for comprehensive rejuvenation package, and patients love the result because they can treat multiple concerns: the skin, the structure, the contour in fewer sessions. For the clinic, it also increases treatment value and also the operational efficiency, because the synergy not only enhances the result but also streamlines the clinical practice. Fewer paths, optimized treatment schedules, integrated protocols, and also it means higher efficiency and patient satisfactions. So there are some keys that to use this combo. First, that I make sure that I educate my patients well. So it's one of the secret of success. So I explained that aging affects both skin and muscle layers. And when patients understand how EMFACE and EXION complement each other, their compliance and satisfactions increase dramatically. So I also position EMFACE is as the only device that directly targets the facial muscles non-invasively. And even the surgery focus on repositioning structures above this mass, not reactivating the muscles themselves. So this makes EMFACE actually truly one of a kind. So I also explain to patients that facial muscles is like core of the face. So I like to compare facial muscles to the body core muscles. So just as a strong core supports posture and balance, strong facial muscles actually maintain lift and symmetry. When we strengthen the facial foundations, all other treatment from lasers to filler performs better and it can last longer. So just like physical exercise, the benefit of EMFACE built with repetition. So does one session works? So usually people notice result only with first sessions, but if we combine EMFACE and EXIONs, the result is definitely more visible. So I also always tell my patients that one session is not enough because even though they like the result after one sessions, I usually tell them, but this is not the result that I mean because when we already did like 4 times, the result is like totally different. So I told them it's like buying an expensive PT sessions. The repetitions is also important, and then the timing, how you schedule the treatment is also very important. For example, we bought like 4 PT sessions at the gym, but you use your PT sessions, for example, like once a month compared to twice a week. Of course, like the muscle building is totally different. When you do it, your gym sessions only like once a month, your body only got a little bit toned, but there is no muscles can be built only by exercising like once a month. So why repetition matters, just like we train body muscles repeatedly to maintain strength, facial muscles also require consistent activations. So with consistent treatments, neuromuscular adaptations can happen. So this is what we call a muscle memory. So combining EMFACE with EXION or other energy-based devices creates both clinical and business synergy. We can treat all skin layer, achieve faster visible result, and package treatment more effectively. So this integrated approach drives patient retentions and also can maximize the outcome. So ultimately, the education leads to compliance, and compliance drives the result. So as we can see that the mid face and eyes lift up, and then the sagginess on the corner of her mouth decrease, and this is on the other side. So on these patients, the improvement of the chins, because I did her the chin Botox as well. And then I think on the last session, I also give her the Nefertiti Botox. So I usually have that combinations. So I try to strengthen the muscles that lift up the face, but I also want to weaken the muscles that drags down the face. So this is the case. One of the case where I did both the Nefertiti lift by Botox and also strengthening the muscles with M-Face. And also I did the lower face Axion. So I finished the 4 sessions of Axion lower face. So what I did is Axion lower face and Axion on the double chin area. But the EMFACE pad, I put it on the cheek and also on the forehead. So this actually saved the treatment costs for patients because she doesn't use 4 pads, but she used only 2 pads instead, and we combine it with EXION. So this is the result of the forehead improvement as well. So we can see that it lifts up her eyes. And this is also the result with with EXION. We can see that with EMFACE and EXION, we can see, for example, like look at the lips, that her lips becomes thicker. We did not use anything. We did not use Botox or fillers or skin booster on the lips, but the lips actually lift up because of the EMFACE pulls up the corners of the mouth. This is also the result with EMFACE 4 session and EXION. We can notice the skin quality improvement and also how her forehead and cheek lifted up. So this is on older patients, 70 years old Asian. We can see the improvement. So I did the forehead and cheek and face on these patients. But for the periorbital, lower cheek, and submentum, I use EXION. So this is the result from the side. This is 37 years female. So she did both EMFACE and EXION. Same. So the pad is on her forehead and on her cheeks. And then the periorbital, lower face, and double chin with EXION. So this is the result. Patients with 4 times EXION phase, 2 times microneedling RF, and 4 times M phase. So I think one of the final tips is look after all your layers, because all your layers are important if you want to tackle all the skin aging manifestation and symptoms. And don't forget to treat the face as one integrated system. And the facial rejuvenation is very complex. It's like building a house, and EMFACE is the foundations, and EXION is the one who perfects the structures. And we have the EXION Clear RF to smoothen and clears all the surface irregularities. So from my clinical standpoint, the EMFACE and EXION combination is not only powerful, but also very practical. The sessions are comfortable, quick, and needle-free, and for busy patients, this dual-layer approach offers efficiency without compromising any outcome. So this is one message I'd like to take away, that aging happens in every layer, so rejuvenation must too. So EMFACE and EXION actually empowers us to treat the face comprehensively, rebuilding the foundation, reinforcing the structure, and perfecting the surface. So this is how we create the result that look effortlessly natural and last over time. Thank you very much.
So Rini, thank you so much. That was a really great talk, showcasing some beautiful before and afters, and just seeing what we can actually achieve without the need for injectables, and these incredible 2 devices for that kind of complex full facial rejuvenation. So thank you. Okay, let's continue on this journey with our second speaker, Dr. Leopoldo. Dr. Leopoldo is a dermatologist based in Mexico City. He has a background in internal medicine and is an experienced clinical researcher and international trainer. Today, he's going to be sharing some combination treatment strategies tailored to individual facial concerns, along with some really compelling patient outcomes and the clinical evidence behind this modality pairing. Dr. Leopoldo, over to you.
Hi, everyone. Greetings from Mexico. I'm Dr. Leopoldo. I'm a dermatologist, and today I have the honor to talk about one of the greatest combination treatments, that is EMFACE with EXION. My experience with both of devices is so good. I received the EMFACE in April 2023, and like as a dermatologist, obviously I have performed myself a lot of different procedures like toxin, like some fillers, um, some lasers, and the only procedure that my mother noticed and she told me, "So you're looking so good," was with my first M-Face treatment. So obviously, I repeat it every year. This was my third treatment this year, and as a patient, I'm really loving it. And then the next year in March 2024, I received the first action in Mexico, and I received it with all the applicators. I really pushed it for it because I had another radio frequency device that I was not so in love with, and now I'm so glad that I take that decision to acquire the action. What I like about EMFACE, I think that everyone in the rejuvenation journey really needs to perform EMFACE as the first treatment. Why? Because it's the only one that is going to target the muscle area, and that's very important layer for facial rejuvenation, and almost everyone can receive it, like very young patients that are starting the rejuvenation protocols, or the older ones that maybe already receive like face surgery or something like that. There are very limited contraceptions, so almost everyone should receive first aid phase. What I love about Action is that it's um, all needs and all areas a platform. Obviously, as you know, Action covers just not the face; it's also covered a body and a feminine intimate areas. Okay. When I start combining them, as soon as I receive Action, we offer for our M-Face patients to receive some areas to uh, experience the treatment, like around the lips, for coat wrinkles coat area, for around the eyes, and the patients love it, and that's why that's the way that we start with combining these awesome treatments. So the combination, we go from the muscle up. So we start any combination first with M phase. Then we add a action phase, and if needed, and if the patient want also, we add an radio frequency, the fractional or the clear ref one, and at the last. One of the great advantages of this combination is that we can combine it in the same day. So this is effort saving and time saving for both the patients and us. So first of all, I think that we should create a really tailored plan. Okay. First of all, I like to hear from the patients their main concerns. Some of them are complaining about the appearance of the eyelids, okay, of the under eye bags. Some patients complain about the double chin or the sagging of the neck. Okay, so I like to concentrate our efforts in the main concern first. Okay, so and then obviously taking care about the budget and the severity of the problem, we combine the other procedures. Okay. In our practice, in our clinic, the patients, well, they can go for the treatment, but almost every patient that receive EMFACE or EXION or the combination first receive consultation with me. Why? Because I really need to know them, okay, to know the fears, to know their concerns, and that's the time that I have to explain very detailed the way that the treatments work. Okay, uh, this way we don't create false expectations about the results, and also we can identify the patients that will be not so happy with the standard results of this combination also. Okay, this way the patients, I think, that feel more special and they feel that we are taken care of, and maybe it's not the way to get your return of investment so quickly, but I think that's the way to more solid fundamentation for your practice. The combination indication, if the patient goal of the patient needs is to improve the volume of the cheek and the lifting of the face, obviously we start with M phase and we add the action phase in the same day. Okay. If the problem or the concern about firming or tightening, the radio frequency, the fractional radio frequency is the ideal combination. And if the patients also have problems with enlarged pores, we can add at last the clitoral ref. Okay. With this indication, especially, I don't have so much experience because this was the last and the newest add to the Action platform. And for our main skin colors, tone, we don't perform so much glitter ref in our practice. But one of the best ones, the one we love, is the EMFACE eyes with action face. That was the really first combination when EMFACE eyes arrived the last year. And for the patient that the problem or the main concern is double chin reduction and jawline contour, obviously the combination of emphasis in the cheeks and in the submentum area with the radio frequency, with the fractional radio frequency. Okay. The protocols for everyone, obviously we perform EMFACE first, as I told before, and we like to patients to feel action in a small area, like a compliment. Okay, it's like 20-minute treatment. You don't have to spend anything more. Okay, the patient already have their return patch in their applied to the back, so it's a nice way the patient to know the other device and to see the potential of the combination. Okay. Our three main protocols in our clinic is obviously the M phase and action phase that we perform the same day in every consultation. Almost for us, we indicate every 15 days, and the combination of M phase and action eyes. I think the one of the nicest way to rejuvenate the eyelids and with a very smooth, nice treatment. And for patients that really needs to improve the skin quality, I push them to receive the fractional radio frequency because um, it's very really nice treatment. It's very it's one, I think, the less pain the less painful of all the micro needling radio frequency devices, and the recovery time is so quick. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you some results of our patients. In this case, we apply M phase and action phase, okay, in the same day, the four treatments, and you can see the improvement of the position of the cheek. The volume is awesome. She didn't receive any filler, any biostimulator, just M phase and action in the same day, and the picture was taken 1 month before. In this patient, the main concern was the skin quality and the skin laxity. Unfortunately, she didn't want to receive a microneedling treatment, so we just performed the Exion and an M-face, okay, in cheeks and in the forehead also. The picture was taken in the last session. That's why she's a little bit rubberish, but you can see the improvement in the skin quality. And she told us she felt so much improvement in the hydration of the skin. In this patient, she wanted to improve the position of the cheek, but also she wanted to improve the size of the pores. So we gave her the all 4 EMFACE sessions and just one fractional session with microneedling, and as you can see, the improvement on the appearance, just not in the structure, also in the skin quality and the size of the pores. In this patient, well, the structural laxity was one of the main concerns, especially in the cheeks and in the submentum area. So she performed 2 sessions of fractional radiofrequency and first received the EMFACE. And you can see the changes of the position of the cheek and a little bit of more defined jawline contour. And in the last patient, she received EMFACE in the 3 areas that we had at this moment: forehead, submentum, and cheeks. And then she performed EXION phase, and that's all. This picture was taken 2 months after the last one. And I did notice that Dr. Chilikuri and Dr. Kent, they perform a very interesting study in a very similar way that we perform our treatments. They add action radio frequency, fractional radio frequency to their patients, and get this awesome result that I'm going to talk about. They collect 52 patients. In the same day, they perform first EMFACE for cheeks and forehead, then action phase for next to mentum, perioral, and periorbital areas, and then at last, a fractional radiofrequency for full face mentum and neck. They receive 4 treatments, and in the same way that everyone treats. Okay. In the results, they observe very significant improvements in overall areas of the face. Okay, and same-day combinations, they conclude that they are safe and so much more efficient. The 3D evaluation revealed a 43.4 reduction in wrinkles. That's awesome. 47.3 reduction of pore size, and 31.2 improvement in skin evenness. Okay, and the histological evaluation, sorry, the elastin increased 130%. That's 27 more than the standalone EMFACE. Collagen increase in almost 40%. That is almost 10% more than the standalone EMFACE. And at last, hyaluronic acid increased by 230%. That is 6% more than standalone EXION. So all the patients notice improvement in the Gaia scale, and this is one of the patients that they perform, and it's a 71-year-old patient. And I suspect that she previously received a facial procedure, surgical procedure, but you see the result is awesome. The notable improvement of the knee, the cheek, and the neck. And summary for me, EMFACE and EXION together get so much better results than standalone procedures. This kind of combination increase layers and areas to cover, obviously. And you can stand out your practice with the most top radio frequency devices in the market. And I really believe that we should concentrate and prescribe tailored plans and just don't sell machine procedures. Thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Leopoldo. That was absolutely fantastic. And something that was mentioned in there when Dr. Leopoldo said that he historically had a radio frequency device and wasn't massively sold on it, and then looking at the EXION. We have had a couple of questions coming through, and just to answer one of them for you, we have had a question here saying, how can you use the monopolar RF without losing the fat? Well, what's brilliant with the EXION face is that you do have real-time feedback with the handpiece. So you know exactly what temperature you are treating the patients to ensure that you're not getting that fat reduction, that we're getting that skin tightening, collagen. And amazingly, with the EXION face, we are targeting the reticular dermis. So basically, mean we're the only device that can claim to actually naturally produce hyaluronic acid. So it's a very, very, very safe treatment. And the same with the fractional RF too. It's AI driven, it's monopolar RF, it's super targeted, and we're not doing more than a single pass. So it's a really quick, easy treatment to do. As long as you know what depths you're going to be giving some really, really beautiful results. So moving on and keeping us on time, I am going to be up next talking about my experience with the EMFACE and EXION in clinic, why we introduced this and how we position the combination in clinic, what's driven that retention, word of mouth, some before and after images, and also having a little look at the year-on-year growth on the last few years since we opened clinic. These two platforms really have been pivotal in our success as a clinic, and I'm really excited to share this experience with you. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm here today to share how EMFACE and EXION have shaped not only our patient outcomes, but also the way we structure, grow, and sustain our business model. This isn't just about technology, it's about how innovation, consistency, and experience that can completely redefine a clinic's trajectory. So a little bit about me. I've been in the industry for about 9 years now. I am a BTL business strategist KOL, and the clinic, like I said, is in St. Brelard in Jersey. But my speciality is really looking at business development, branding, and commerciality, with a special interest in device-led technology and women's intimate health and well-being. So we are based in St. Brelard. We have a population of 110,000, and we are officially a BTL flagship clinic. We have the full M Suite portfolio, and we did our soft launch on the 23rd of January 2023, where we actually launched the clinic with the EMFACE ahead of its official UK launch. In August 2023, we took on the EXION also. We are a medically led holistic clinic that merges aesthetics and wellness. We launched the EMFACE at our opening, and then, like I said, the EXION later that year ahead of the UK release. We positioned ourselves as a leader in innovation and as an exclusive destination for results-driven technology. So when we're opening a business, what are we looking at? We're looking at driving growth through innovation, our brand, our patient retention, and ultimately our profit. Who you choose as your device partner is one of the most important decisions that you can make. How do you position yourself and give your business a competitive edge? How do we drive patient acquisition and retention? But ultimately, we are looking at profitability. Of course, we all want devices that can deliver on the bottom line. This is where these devices played an integral role within the clinic. So the EMFACE and the EXION, a catalyst for commercial growth. These technologies opened up multiple commercial avenues for us, allowing my team to diversify revenue streams, streamline workflow, and strengthen trust through visible results. The recurrent treatment model has allowed us to move away from one-off sales to predictable, scalable revenue and income. And not only do BTL thrive in what they do with technology, look at the press. BTL have positioned themselves as market leaders. Whether we like it or not, patients are more informed than they have ever been, and the media plays a huge part in this. So by having publications such as The Times, Vogue, Glamour, Tatler, Harper's Bazaar even, we are seeing patients come to us more and more often having seen one of the devices within an article, and not just coming in saying, I want to lift or tighten, but actually calling and booking in for treatments such as EMFACE. They know the device names. So we have 2 devices and 7 facial procedures. We have the forehead and the cheeks is what we launched when we first started with the EMFACE. We then brought out the submentum and then very excitingly the eyes. Followed by with the EXION, the fractional RF, clear RF and face. We also have the EXION body and the MFM 360, but that's going to be for another talk another day. Courses enable stronger patient relationships and upsell opportunities. We have delegable treatments, which means improved clinic efficiency. Clinically proven results equal patient trust and ultimately recurrent revenue leading to long-term profitability. So how do we do this? Let's look at the patient journey that we deliver in clinic and how we've integrated these 2 devices into the clinic and have them running daily. The consultation. So the modern patient journey is to design, educate, and deliver. Every journey begins with education. Our patients come to us not just for results, but for understanding. We take the time to listen, design, and deliver outcomes that unfold beautifully over time. The modern patient is shifting away from injectables as a quick fix and towards a curated plan of care. By positioning ourselves as architects of results, we ensure each outcome feels intentional, balanced, and entirely bespoke. Think of yourself as the architect, the contractor, and the interior designer. We're working through every single layer and every stage of the build, delivering outstanding, credible results. Ultimately, education creates empowerment. Empowered patients stay loyal. So, why devices over injectables? We're reframing patient expectations. Injectables deliver that instant change, and devices give you that sustained transformation. The market has shifted. Patients are no longer satisfied with isolated results. They want that ongoing improvement, natural outcomes, and holistic well-being. With devices like the EMFACE and EXION, these are allowing us to deliver these outcomes across different patient types while reinforcing medical credibility. Our patient demographic in clinic was until recently predominantly female, 45 to 65. These women were coming to us aesthetically naive, but what they did know is that they didn't want injectables. Having these two devices in clinic have enabled us to be able to deliver a patient a year-long plan, treating every single layer of the skin and positioning us at the forefront of our field within Jersey, building trust and credibility. We have never advertised. Our business model has purely been word of mouth and referrals, and something that I'm incredibly proud of in clinic. So to refer back to the previous slide, who is the patient you are consulting? Do they want the immediate results, or do they want to be the very best version of themselves? The results gradually improving and their peers just noticing something is different, or that they just look great. We're going to be diving into some before and afters shortly, and you'll see that most patients, they look like themselves, but the best version. They're looking fresher, they're looking rested, they're looking younger. So understanding your patient, are they the quick fixer or are they in it for the long game? So how do we achieve this? Well, in clinic, we very much believe in multi-layering. Every patient that comes through the door and looking to begin their journey gets put on medical grade skincare. Maybe we include some collagen to work in tandem with our energy-based devices, or we look at longevity with microdosing of supplements like the NAD+ or L-glutathione. At this point, we then position EMFACE as the foundation for lifting and toning. And then we'll move on to the EXION for the structure, whether that's the fractional RF or the face, depending on the patient concerns. And then we're finessing and finishing with the face, if we've used the fractional as the structure, or the clear if we've moved the fractional or face, to give that really beautiful glass-like skin finish. A big thing that BTL have actually said to me is the downtime that we get for the clear RF. I feel like sometimes practitioners have been nervous with the clear RF. It's a microablation technique, and they're worried about the downtime. My biggest tip to you is if your patient's skin is prepped with medical grade skincare, they've had the preparation for this, the downtime that we're seeing on average is 2 to 3 days maximum. And most patients are absolutely blown away by the results of that beautiful glass-like clear like finish. And if they do have a bit of downtime, they can pop some makeup on in 24 hours, so it's fine. At this point, we can then look onto the regenerative injectables. So whether that be polynucleotides or PRP, and then dermal fillers to finesse if we need to, and anti-wrinkle injections that are preventative. So let's take a look at our year-long patient treatment plan. So they come in to see us for the consultation. We then move them to EMFACE as the foundations, the EXION, and then finishing with the clear RF. At this point, we've taken a whole year treatment plan into case here. And at this point, we're then looking at the maintenance visits and planning that out. Recurrent revenue is one of the biggest drivers for a successful clinic. You are seeing retention and you are enabled to get your predictable outcome and also forecast efficiently. With your consultation, yes, we're sticking with protocols, but always personalize these and make them strategic. Patients become invested in their results. Regular check-ins maintain engagement and satisfaction. The concept of this year-long plan has been absolutely transformative for our business. It turns one-off patients into long-term members of their aesthetic journey with us. When we document their progress, we schedule check-ins and educate them on ongoing care. Retention becomes organic and not forced, and that is really, really key and critical to clinic success. Do not let them leave after their last session without either their 3-month review booked in or the start of their next course. Once these courses are completed, we advise on maintenance plan of tweakments to maintain optimal results. And don't forget to stay in touch. You build relationships with these patients. The wonderful thing when you're doing courses is I always try and make sure the patient is with the same practitioner. You get to know your patient, make notes on their patient profile. Do they have a child? Are they going on a holiday coming on a holiday recently? Do they take their coffee a certain way? These little touches build trust and that rapport with your patient that means they're going to stay loyal to you and your clinic. So let's look at some year-on-year growth that we have experienced in clinic since launching in 2023. So in 2023, just to explain these figures, I had a part-time injector who was working 1 day, sometimes 2 days a week. Hence why, obviously, the injectables were a little lower at this point. In 2024, this moved to 4 days a week. Now we have 2 injectors working consistently, yet devices have still held as the absolute backbone of our clinical success, with 39% holding for the last 2 years. This is huge for the clinic. Also, think of your consumable cost. Think of your doctor costs and syringes of filler, toxin, etc., versus what your esthetician costs would be and these devices. We're thinking of the bottom line. Devices continue to drive our business, and with the ever-evolving EMFACE and EXION, at no point do we anticipate this to slow down. So let's look at some further stats on how many treatments we are delivering. So 2023, we saw 356 EXION treatments performed and 249 EMFACE treatments. This then grew significantly in 2024 with 423 EXION and 387 EMFACE treatments. 2025 so far, and this I really want to highlight to you, we're about to go into the festive season. I expect that EXION figure to end the year at circa the 600 mark, as I do the same with the EMFACE. That is significant growth. We've consistently grown year on year, but not just in the treatments delivered, but in overall patient engagement and cross-device synergy. Both devices had paid for themselves and generated profit in the first year, which I know is a really important question for people when they're looking at how do they choose the right device and wanting to know they're going to get their ROI back on that. 2024 marked a 34% increase in device-based revenue streams, and 2025 continues that upward trajectory. These figures reflect not only demand, but trust. Patients are returning, referring, and investing in comprehensive treatment plans. We have, I think, 60-something days left of the year, so I'm excited to see where these figures are going to end up come the end of December. So the bit that everybody wants to see, the importance of before and after images. Just a quick note here to say these images are copyrighted and are for presentation purposes only. The patient consent has not been given to distribute, share, or use for marketing purposes, so please do not take pictures and distribute these. So why do we take before and afters? It's difficult for patients to see results as they are gradual. At the 3-month mark, they can see the difference, are normally blown away, and that's when they look to book for further courses. Take a look at this patient here. She came to us completely injectable and aesthetically naive, saying she felt tired, just looking at herself, didn't feel like herself anymore. The middle picture was after a course of 4 EMFACE to the cheeks and the forehead, and then treating with the EXION as well periocularly to kind of give that lift and open up the eye. This picture on the right is 2.5 years later. The patient has had no injectables. She has consistently maintained with her EXION, her EMFACE, and medical grade skincare. And I think you can all agree she looks unbelievable, especially with that lift and just brightness. She looks so much younger than she did when she started with us. This patient, we just treated purely with the EXION face. So she was concerned about the crow's feet around her eyes and said that she didn't want to have toxin. She was very much needle averse and didn't want to put any of, as she said, that stuff into her face. This is great where the devices come in because we do see this quite often in clinic. This is where we started. The middle picture was immediately after her course of 6, and then the 3-month follow-up afterwards. If you look at those static lines where the crow's feet were, look how much they have softened. That is a phenomenal result for somebody who was very much dipping their toe into the aesthetic arena. This patient was cheek and forehead. The second picture was immediately after her 4th session. I want you to take a look at the medial cheek and look at that volume restoration, along with the sharpening of the jaw. One of our younger patients, this was before and at her 3-month follow-up, she came into us. She does have toxin. She loves having her toxin, but she wanted that snatched jawline without the need for filler and wasn't too keen on building on that. And I think we can agree, looking at her jawline, how much sharper it is looking. I love this patient's results. So we treated this patient with her forehead and her cheeks. Look at that facial slimming. This was immediately after her 6th session, so she still has time to go to actually reach her 3-month optimal results. I'll go through the next few pictures for you so you can actually take a look at the static lines to the forehead and glabella. If we have a little look here, I'm not sure if you can see on your screen, but without the need for any toxin, look at the reduction in the static lines. Everything has smoothed down. The nasolabial fold has softened. The jawline has sharpened. If we move on to the next patient. This one was immediately, oh no, it wasn't, sorry, this was 3 months after her last session. So we treated with the forehead and the cheeks. Again, we've seen some beautiful cheek volumization. And then if we take on the profile picture as well, we did treat this patient with a little bit of chin filler for facial harmonization. But you can see the sharpness of the jaw, the cheek that has restored the volume and just looking fresher and more lifted. Our next patient is one of my favorite patients. She came to us with very badly sun-damaged skin, inflamed, just looking red and pigmented and lots of lines and damage and that really thick leathery skin. Her son was getting married in a year and a half's time, and she's like, what can I do to make myself just feel better? Now, this after picture was taken at her 3-month follow-up. At this point, we had just done EMFACE to the cheeks and the forehead, medical grade skincare, and a course of EXION fractional RF. Look how much more lifted she is. And then if I move to the side, look at the pigmentation. The pigmentation improvement from the medical grade skincare and the fractional RF is absolutely phenomenal. We also treated with a course of polynucleotides periorally, and just to note as well, that does work beautifully in synergy with your fractional RF. And when it comes to looking at treatment protocols for that, we tend to do a course of do a session of polynucleotides, 2 weeks later do the fractional, 2 weeks later do the polynucleotides, and so on until the courses have finished. We then finessed with some filler to the lateral cheek as well. Our next patient, again, completely aesthetically naive, wanted just to feel better. She's a busy mum with 2 young boys and just said she felt just a bit tired and flat. So we looked at EMFACE. She had her cheeks and forehead done. This was a game changer to her. She's like, oh my goodness, I feel so much better. What's next? Again, something that we get asked quite a bit of. What's next? Well, we move you to the fractional RF just to kind of help give that whole complete holistic approach to the skin. We then finished with some temple filler and chin filler just to round out those results beautifully. But I think you can all agree, if you look at how she carries herself, you can see the renewed confidence and the patient clearly feeling like the very best version of themselves. And to digress, actually, this patient has since had the Clear RF, EXION body, and continued maintenance of multiple BTL devices. And we have seen her pretty much, probably say, at least once a month, every month for the last 2.5 years. So again, this is what we're getting with these devices. We're getting patient retention and recurrent revenue. My next patient was from this year. So when we launched with the EXION eyes, one of my favorites, we did not the EXION eyes, sorry, EMFACE eyes. So if you take a look at the eyes, we treated with EMFACE eyes and EMFACE cheeks. Look at the shape of the eye. So we have the before, we have the immediately after the 6th session and the 3-month follow-up. The whole shape of the eye has lifted, opened, and brightened. Look how much better she looks. Look how much fresher she looks. Even on the side profile as well, we've restored volume to the medial cheek, we've softened the nasal labial fold down, and just given her a brighter, more open appearance. So what are we seeing? From performance to trust, trust is earned through consistency. We've built this trust. Every patient experience is shaped with intention. From the first consultation to the last should be ongoing maintenance visit. Our protocols are structured, our results are measurable, and our BTL devices play a critical role in ensuring every outcome is both safe and repeatable. That's what builds the trust. Precision and results that speak for themselves. When you deliver safe, consistent, tangible results, commercial growth becomes a natural byproduct. Also, one big thing for us, every satisfied patient becomes a brand ambassador. As I previously said, we don't pay for marketing or advertising. We run our business purely on word of mouth, and we have many brand ambassadors out there spreading the good word of all the BTL devices that we have in clinic. So, EMFACE and EXION, the cornerstones of consistent growth and how these work in clinic. These devices are not add-ons. They are the foundation of our patient pathways. And I think this is a big thing. If you are a clinic where you are solely an injector and you're looking to make that step and worrying about, is it going to work? This is very much the foundation of what we do in clinic. And then once we finish the devices, I will sometimes do a consultation with my medical lead, who will then look at injectables to finesse the patient. But the EMFACE is creating the foundation, muscle tone, lift, and facial harmony. Especially in this day and age with the GLP-1s and kind of seeing that muscle loss, we're seeing that restoration restored with the EMFACE. Your EXION is refining the structure, collagen, elasticity, texture, and clarity. Together, they're delivering visible, measurable, and repeatable results every single time, with predictable protocols, predictable outcomes, and predictable revenue. Safe and needle-free and inclusive treatments that are broadening our demographic reach. We are seeing an influx of men coming in at the moment for EMFACE, and it's them dipping their toe into the aesthetic world with something that isn't involving needles or downtime. The synergy of these devices enable us to multi-layer plans, give year-long retention and cross-selling potential across skin, body, and wellness. These devices have been pivotal in our clinic success. And the EMFACE, interestingly, has consistently been our highest revenue generator since we opened year on year. This is allowing us to design results and not chase them. We're getting that lift and tone that underpin facial harmony, and then we are perfecting the surface and texture with the EXION. What makes these technologies crucial is not just their outcomes, but their reliability. They've become the backbone of our business model, creating trust, repeat visits, and consistency, that scales. So, the future of aesthetics and wellness. The modern aesthetic clinic is no longer defined by injectables alone. True differentiation is coming from integration, face, body, skin, and well-being. Data technology and human expertise working in harmony with wellness and aesthetics that are converging. Patients are now seeking longevity, balance, and results, with emotional well-being and confidence now being measurable outcomes. Those who evolve beyond the traditional model are leading the next era of aesthetics. As we move forward, the lines between aesthetics, wellness, and longevity are dissolving. Patients want more than rejuvenation, they want restoration. Within Clinic Here, our mission has always been to lead this shift with intelligence, empathy, and integration. This is very much the future of aesthetics, evidence-based, technology-driven, and entirely human. And don't forget, the clinics that thrive are the ones that evolve, not the ones that follow. So thank you very much. Here are my details here. If you have any questions, please do pop them below and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of today's session. I can see that the BTL team have been answering your questions as you go along, but if any have been missed, they will be in touch with you. I really do hope that today has given you some clarity and confidence in what the EMFACE and the EXION can unlock for both your patient outcomes and your business growth. A huge thank you to Dr. Arini and Dr. Leopoldo for sharing their invaluable expertise again with us today, and a big thank you to you for taking the time to join us. We really do look forward to seeing your full face results and success that you achieve in your own practices. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you once again. Take care.